Hey guys, how's it going? Maybe I can pull you up on my phone so I can kind of 1 second. One second. Howdy guys, how you doing? Let's pull up chat on my phone. Today we're gonna go through and talk about all what I believe is the evidence and what proves why I believe that we are gonna unfortunately, it's really sad, but I will put this on record today, 7/9/25, and I think that unfortunately we're going to find out one of these days when we finally get the truth that actually Fred Hill's sister Karen could be involved, is involved in some way, and that's I really feel we're going to find that out down the line, and I have a million reasons of why I believe that. And I just got more today, more proof that's like very, very damning evidence of her relationship with the Wells. It's a way stronger, or it's way. I had proof of her up there after Summer Wells went missing. So, the person that's, gave me the info doesn't want to be put, in the middle of this. So I am being very vague. But I already had a feeling. I already had a bad feeling. I knew she was dating one of Don Will's buddies around the time Summer went missing. She had just got out of prison like the year before Summer went missing. She started hanging out with, that's when she started dating one of Don's friends, is right when she got out of prison around 2020 or 2019. And I think it progressed from there. I have so many things. Like, it's crazy how the events have unfolded, but I will tell you this: the one major red flag that happened, was her when I found out from Fred's other sister that she had gone to her, Karen had, and was like, "Oh my god!" Like, basically over her dead body was me and Fred gonna be together. Like, she was like, if she's like, I'm gonna do everything and anything I can to break them up. Why is that? Wouldn't a normal person, a normal sister or sibling, be happy that their brother is getting off drugs and they found somebody who's clean? Obviously better situation than he was in. So why is it that we have Karen, who seems to go against the grain? This was purposely orchestrated and done, and it's all starting to unravel. And she, unfortunately or fortunately, put herself out there and basically told on herself when she decided to come out and start being part of this confusion crew starting in June of 2023 when Fred went to jail. And suddenly here comes Ellie, aka Karen Elliott, trying to get a hold of my biggest haters, like Six Up, like a hate channel, like for information about Summer Wells. That's who you're contacting. You want to put out this lie detector test to try to make people's opinions change of Fred. That wasn't even the results of the lie detector test. That was only you have to get it through Nashville. If somebody would get that lie detector test, that would be amazing. We could find out their actual real results. That is just what the lady sent off to Nashville to have. I don't know. Fred explained it to me, but we have to get the official copy directly from them Nashville office. And she told Fred this. She told Fred, the lie detector person, that she was going to be sending her, that it was going to say no opinion. Anyways, she used that as one of her weapons, okay? This is somebody who set up a crime scene and got caught to try. She's been involved in some very serious crimes. But that's the first sign. Oh, so she comes in June of 2023 when Fred goes to jail. Like, I had never talked to her or seen her in the chats. Like, she might have been around like a straggler, but in the background. But she never was in chats, didn't talk ever. I hadn't even met Fred's other sister, Julie, or anything at that time. So I didn't know really that dynamic of Fred's very like private in a way. He doesn't tell his like the family business, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know the extent of all this craziness for years. And now it's unfolding, and it's like so obvious now to me that, and especially after I hear today of her being up there. So somebody, there's proof of her sleeping with Dawn Wells, and Candace being really upset. Candace, I guess somebody should ask Candace Wells one day when she's drunk about Fred Hill's sister, Karen. See if you can strike a nerve with her when she's drunk. She'll tell you all about it, cry how Dawn slept with her. Karen, after Summer went missing, started contacting psychics these psychics, these fake psychics that like don't have very much integrity, who would go along with some bullshit in order for views. And she contacted this one named Tara, and a lady out of Canada, and she convinced her. Thank you, Luminous. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, I'm on a roll right now. She convinced her to, basically convinced her of her brother's, try to paint Fred of this horrible person in hopes to help change public opinion. Karen was purposely brought in by Dawn Wells and Andy Bernard. I promise you this. I will bet you money on this. It's perfect. I found out she was hanging up out there, partying with them. That's why she would always hide when she would go out in the holler. Like, she wouldn't, after Summer Wells went missing, she wouldn't even drive in the holler. She would have to ride with somebody else, or she would duck down. Or what about all those like wigs and like receipts to Guatemala that Fred found that we turned into TBI, and the wigs and the sunglasses and stuff. Karen, what all is that stuff? All that receipts that you have to Guatemala. What were you doing? You're associated with some really, really shady characters. And I am so happy that things are coming to light, and more every day is seeing it. You should be really scared about right now, because the truth is going to come to light, and it is. It's so getting more and more obvious that you're a part of this. And it was stupid of you to ever freaking get. I don't know what's the extent of her involvement, but she probably better start talking if she knows something. Then there's like rumors of her like being like living with Six Up or in some kind of like relationship with Six Up and stuff. Like, oh my God, I was like, these people are so crazy. Yes, Guatemala. So you guys understand now. You guys see how well orchestrated this was. You guys can tell. Look how it worked pretty well for a long time. You guys saw how much like hate and stuff. It's because there was a group of them. This is a ring of people. A ring of people into these type of shady, either it's like trafficking or a shady adoption ring. Oh, sorry. Or something like that. Definitely drugs involved, and there was definitely a drug debt, but there's a whole group of them back there in the creek. This is how they were able to do this for so long, is they all came together because they're all involved with some kind of shady ring. It's not just Summer Wells. There's other things involved. Once people start opening their eyes and seeing this and how all these people are connected back there and how this is happening, they'll start to see how this was able to go on for this long. Karen risked her freaking livelihood and had somebody beat the crap out of her in order to set up a fake crime scene to make it look like it wasn't her son doing the neighborhood robbings or burglaries. She had somebody push her down the stairs. She made this orchestrated this whole big thing. This is her favorite pastime, is to set up things and make things look a certain way. It's all a game to her. She's been like this. She's been jealous of Fred their whole life. Fred's the youngest, the only boy. There's 2 girls, 1 boy. Fred was the youngest. He was a baby. Fred's other sister, who is the sweetest ever, okay? Fred and Julie are the nicest, sweetest people I have ever met. And then there's freaking Karen, who doesn't even look like them, and it's just evil as hell. And she's always been the outcast because she always did that, always was doing shady stuff and trying to get money out of the parents, all kinds of stuff. Everybody knew how Karen was. I mean, her nickname at the prison was the White She-Devil, or the White Devil or something. Oh, really, Denise? Yes, Karen lives in Tennessee. Hey, Giselle. Yes, she did wear Summer. Absolutely, she did too. She absolutely did. And Jimmy Long. Look up that guy. He's a real character. Tell me if you would let your freaking child or daughter around Jimmy Long, or even would want to be around that person yourself. Go look up that guy's Facebook. You'll see the type of people she is friends with. And they even tag her and say things like, Karen, can you give us a ride to, like she's the driver of these, like, this, like, it's like she gets women for these pervert guys. Look it up yourself. I've showed it. I'm not gonna dig deep into that again. But it's so easy. Remember, Jimmy Long's the one that told one of PG's mods in a message that you'd find Summer Wells in Grassy Creek. Do you guys know who lives in Grassy Creek? The Hayes brothers. That's their home place, is Grassy Creek. I don't know who Jimmy Long was referring to when he said Grassy Creek. I'd love to know. Hey, Chloe. Then I was thinking, okay, and I'll say this because the man's deceased now. His name was Kenny Thompson. He was one of Don's buddies. We don't know how he passed away, but supposedly passed away. Karen was dating him around the time Summer went missing, allegedly, or something around that time, after she got out of prison. I was just like thinking, Thompson? Like the Thompsons on Ben Hill? The ones that are like, that Andy's really close to, that are really close to the Redmonds, that are really close to the Smiths? I don't know. Hey, Mama T. So, yeah. Oh, thank you for Husky. So, yeah, that is, I'm sure I'm forgetting. Oh, Karen didn't want to be seen on the hill. She's all part of, like, contact. She's contacting all these hate creators and stuff. Every single ones that do not like me and Fred, she's like becoming besties with. Does that make sense to you? Wouldn't you want your brother to do better and be off drugs? Like, does it make sense to you why that they did this on purpose? They knew if they could get a group of people, there's power in numbers, plus somebody super close to Fred, who, they thought, oh, well, if it's Fred's sister saying this, they could get some kind of shady psychic to go along with them. Oops. Yeah, and Karen was hanging up, and that's why it's Dawn and Candace is the number ones, but that's why I mentioned Karen hanging out there. That I know of Karen hanging out at the Wells after Summer Wells went missing. I know it now for a fact. I always had a feeling. I just always had a feeling that she was like, had been hanging out up there, because it was just too weird. It did not make sense. Oh, thank you, Chloe. She said a Venmo. Thank you so much. Oh. I appreciate that. She is very sick. My husband's sister is mean, evil bitch. I tried for 16 years with her and we found, yeah, some people are just born that way, guys. They don't have sympathy or they don't have empathy, you know? They're born with something wrong with them in that way. She's so different than Fred and Julie. It's unreal. I mean, I've never met her in person or anything, but like this is stuff Fred would never do. I mean, he's just not vindictive like that. He doesn't go out looking for trouble. She does. You know, it's just weird to me because, I have a couple real sisters, and we're all like somewhat, similar in a way. I mean, I'm kind of the oddball. I'm much different, but in a way, but we're still similar. We still are, talk the same. It looks kind of similar. We similar interests, girly. So it's just confusing to me that she's so different. Now I know that her father is supposedly different. She's like, I guess, a Morlock or something, or Crawford. No, not Crawford. I don't think Crawford. Anyways, that doesn't matter. What matters is, yes, she's got information or she knows something, and law enforcement is 100% aware of her BS. And I'll like to show you, here's one of the other things I wanted to remind you guys of her bullshit that she's pulled. So 6 months ago, I don't know if it will say the exact date, but 6 months ago, I posted this towards Karen, Elliott and Associates right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll move forward with this since now I pretty much know for a fact she's hiding something in a Summer Wells case. So I have no freaking, I don't care. And she's tried to frame Fred this whole time. So I do not care if she's going to end up in prison because of this. I said, so on this post, I put, this is who you're all putting your trust in. And thank you so much for the gifting the memberships, guys. Sammy's, Luminous, that's so nice of you. I said, I had a nice conversation with the investment group who purchased 165 Ben Hill a while back, and I've been keeping a little secret. You see, this is a fraudulent document filed by Karen and her son, Cody. Under the heirs, Karen listed only herself, completely omitting her siblings, Fred and Julie, and then she used her son, Cody, as her witness when he's an heir himself. Felonies galore in this document alone. I said, Karen, aka Ellie, we want the SD cards that you stole from 207 Ben Hill when you illegally snuck. And that's another thing. The SD cards that Fred had of the footage from his cameras, gone when he went to jail. Gone. And it was her that was in there pilfering around, taking videos and shit for that fake psychic. So Karen, aka Ellie, we want the SD cards that you stole from 207 Ben Hill when you illegally snuck into 207 when Fred was in jail and proceeded to bust holes throughout the place so you can make sure no one could live there. And then you took the stack of electronics that was in there. You and those associated with you need to stop running interference in the Summer Wells case to cause confusion. This document right here is just one little example of why Fred's sister is trying to keep Fred quiet. There's a lot more to go with it. This is being shown just so people know the type of person they're listening to and what her motives are. Once again, Ziggy coming in with proof. How much money did you illegally cash in, Karen? Don't play with me. You're a liar and a con. Right here. She filed this on this document on April 9th of 2024. And she posts and she put this. She goes, this affidavit concerns the heirs of the estate of Ronald Fred Hill. I, Cody Reed Hensley, which is Karen's son, biological son, being duly sworn, hereby affirm under penalty of perjury on this 9th day of April 2024 that my date of birth is June 29th, 1995. I have personal knowledge of the facts herein and am disinterested third party. I'm not an heir, successor, executor, nor do I have an interest. So you're not an heir? Lie. First lie. I'm not an heir, successor, executor, nor do I have an interest. Or you don't have interest in the heirship of any heir, successor, or executor of the defendant's or descendant's estate. That's a complete lie and falsehood. She said, number 2, I knew the descendant from June 29th, 1995 until their death. The descendant, Ronald Fred Hill, died on September 26, 2021. The place of death was Holston Valley Hospital, Kingsport, Tennessee. At the time of death, the descendant's legal address was 165 Ben Hill Road, Rogersville, County of Hawkins, State of Tennessee. I am familiar with the descendant's marital history. It is as follows. The descendant was married to Evelyn Hill from April 24th, 1970 until August 1st of 2015. But they continued to live together basically as the descendant did not leave behind a last will and testament. And below, please find a list of the surviving heirs and their relationships to the descendant. And guess who they put? Karen Hill Elliott, daughter of the descendant. You guys, how can anybody be okay? This is a straight up fraudulent document. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, and I told that investment group too. I was like, I was like, she's not the only heir, so I don't know how like legal this whole thing is. So we'd like to know how much in any overages she got when the property sold. Because if we when we find out, actually, I am going to contact law enforcement myself. I'm tired of your freaking bullshit, dude. You're trying to interfere in our life. You went out of your way to try to make sure that me and Fred weren't together. Why? Why? That doesn't make sense. Now it makes sense, though. Yeah, I guess so. It went through, I don't know, I guess. She had to have I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly how it all went down. She did that. All I know is that she somehow sold the property and put herself as heir and did it without Julie or Fred's knowledge. They had no idea that she had filed a document and did all that bullshit. And it was never agreed upon for her to freaking put herself as the only heir. Really, for Husky? Yeah. And I mean, that has to be a felony. That cannot be not a crime. That has to be serious felony. And I tried to tell people like 6 months ago, and that should have been enough. Like, that should have been proof enough for people to completely not trust, or, especially after I showed proof of her arrest and what she was specifically arrested for. Her crimes are way worse than Fred's could ever be. So I just don't understand where people are like getting their faith in her. Like, she hangs out with like the worst of the worst. She is connected to these people. Fred is not. Hey, Keith. Hey, Volger. Hey, Rhonda. Bugs, Ant. So, I'm sure I'm forgetting more and more. If I were her, I would probably go on the run and hide or something. Actually, no. The best thing would be to tell what you know. That would be the most honorable thing. Is because everything's going to come crashing down. It's all coming out there. So if your involvement is just being paid to cause confusion, then you better start talking. If you do the right thing, then I will not encourage Fred to press charges about that illegal freaking document, illegal sale. I can't help what Julie does. If you do the right thing for Summer Wells, we won't go after you for that illegal sale of the property or illegal whatever you freaking did. Gosh, I've only been live 32 minutes and I'm out of steam. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. Oh, it's okay, guys. It's okay. Don't pay attention to losers. It's okay. It's a message to them anyways. She needs to hear. I mean, her life's on the line. Her livelihood's on the line. Like, her freedom. I have proof of her being up on the hill after Summer Wells' disappearance, hanging out with them. And I have proof of Candace crying that Dawn Wells slept with Karen. I would love for one of you guys to contact Candace when she's, drunk, get her in and get her talking about Fred Hill's sister. Somebody out here that still talks to Candace, try that out sometime. We might get some interesting info. Because I know for a fact she was upset. Candace was upset and crying, saying Dawn Wells slept with Fred Hill's sister Karen. So it all started to make sense. Like, she was purposely contacted And I mean, she came out right when Fred went to jail. She thought, you know why she did that? She thought he was never going to be back out. For some odd reason, she thought she could frame him and he would never get out. Like she was doing everything she could to try to get him in trouble. Anything she could to try to find some kind of crime or get him in trouble so that he would not get out of jail. The police knew it too. They straight up told Fred, like, your sister is her, bugging us. Like she won't stop, she's trying to basically get you in trouble. Oh, I know. I have the phone. I talked to the actual investment group, Volger, that purchased it. That's how I got that document. They're the one that sent that to me. So I could just contact that person again and talk to them and see what other info they could give me. No, nobody's filed, Annie. I know, Shannon. So did so did Fred Hill's own sister. I knew it. I was like, I just had such a feeling that she was one of those people up on the hill, helping fix the house. And today, I don't know if she was one of those people, but she was up there around that time. She did try for months to make Fred into somebody he's not. She would like highly exaggerate things, make up things, like completely just throw him under the bus. For it doesn't even make sense why she would do such a thing. Wouldn't she want him off drugs? Oh gosh, you guys, I think it's hilarious that the haters are so sad, like they're getting so mad because they know that man like Fred are onto something and that people are starting to believe us. I know that they're freaking so pissed right now. How much do you want to bet? Like once this truth comes out, all these people are going to have zero credibility. All this shit that they've been trying to say about me for years and paint me into this certain person or Fred into this certain person, it's all going to become crumbling down and they're going to be so mad. And that's what's sad is like a lot of these people know that Fred's telling the truth and they're just doing it because they don't like us or they don't like me. But no, I found out more than just that. So there's a reason why law enforcement used Fred to record the Wells, and they knew from the beginning that what was going on. Knew from the freaking beginning. Little did these people know that Fred was recording for working with law enforcement, and it's so funny. That's how their plan backfired. I think it's hilarious. I think it is so freaking funny. Watch it, bitch. Another realm, you pretended like you were contacting my grandmother and acting like you didn't know, like you were a fake. Stop. I have a lawsuit. I would have a lawsuit on you for sure if you were in the United States and you know it. Have I did a rating on Karen? Not in a while, but yeah, Fred's asked me to and stuff. I don't even know why she's not blocked. Yeah, another realm's the one I was talking about, guys. Like, she keeps changing her names. She's the one that teamed up with Karen and tried to paint Fred as this like murderer and number one suspect in Summerwell's disappearance. Yep, that was another realm who did that. And she comes in here saying, "Watch it, bitch." You did that? What are you talking about? Telling me to watch it? I'm just telling what you did. You had people trespass on 207 to get you footage to try to get views. You know that was illegal, right? She didn't have rights to go up on that property. Fred was the legal resident of 207. I don't think you realize who you were teaming up with. You were teaming up with the devil herself. But you let your pride and ego get in the way of the truth. It's sad. It really is. You are not spiritually evolved. There's no way. People who are spiritually evolved and are good people, they do not lie intentionally like that. I've seen you lie and lie intentionally on me and Fred. And I know somebody who is spiritually evolved is not going to do that. That's how I know you're a fraud. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. It's not my fault that your little plan is starting to backfire and it's gonna be exposed. And what are you gonna do? Change your name again? Because you were Morticia's whatever. Then another realm, and then somebody say you're going by something else. You keep changing your name every time you mess up in a case. Like, can't you take a hint that maybe it's just not for you? She fell right into Karen's trap, right into it. Right into it. Now, hey, I can't blame people like at first because when there's power in numbers, but she stuck with it and still sticks to it to this day. So that's why I have a problem with her, because her pride's too big that she won't admit what she did was wrong. So, she teamed up directly, dancing with the devil. That's what is going to happen. I tried to freaking tell her. I tried to tell all these people, oh no, Ziggy's just crazy, right? Oh, I'm lying. I'm such a liar. Yeah. Oh, let's support Don Wells. Don Wells is a good guy, but Fred Hill's this like number one suspect in Summerwell's disappearance, right? Like, these people's like minds are just so twisted. But see, the thing is, like, I do get that there's been a lot of rumors and stuff that goes on YouTube. So I try to put myself in other people's shoes and think, because I'm around him all the time, and I've known him for years. So like, I mean, I remember at first, like, thinking he was like this scary guy. I remember thinking that. I remember he would think he like looks scary and stuff in his mugshot, like when he was on meth and with the freaking whatever, freaking mullet. But when, once I got to know Fred, I was like, wow, he is such a good person and one of the best people I've ever met. And I knew that that was over time that people were going to see it. But no, people like Another Realm had to team up with people with the devil, like Karen Hill and Ryan Finds Truth, to try to like confuse and misdirect people. Oh, Fred was like about jumping for joy today. Like he was like so like just like I cannot wait till this stuff. He just I don't know until things come out. Dorky. I thought he looked scary in this one mugshot. Uh when I met him, I'm like, oh my God, I was so I was so wrong, And and I just once and that's why I encourage people. I was like, please talk with him, please get to know him, just reach out to him, talk to him. He'll talk with you. Like you will see that this stuff that people are putting around are like lies. And these people, they didn't want to see the truth. That's the problem. They'd rather have the views, clicks and views from talking shit about Ziggy or Fred, right? It's sick. What about Libs? I mean, I don't really have much like I've kind of ignored Lips for the last couple years. If she's left me alone, I leave her alone. I mean, I know she talks shit about me sometimes or whatever, but I mean, we had a huge falling out a long time ago. I don't know. I don't really trust her or believe her half the time because she's one that lets her emotions get in the way of reality. These people, they get mad and they'll sit there and just start talking shit and saying lies just because they're mad at somebody, and is like that. And I don't think that's okay when we are talking about a missing child, because we have to put our ego to the side. People are going to get real scared soon, and I can't wait, because something else is happening that people don't know about. And that's all I'm going to say. It's not about really Summer Wells' case, like law enforcement or anything, but people are turning, we'll just say, and seeing, like, have found things on Andy, etc. And more, you guys are going to keep seeing this more and more and more and more people turning on Andy, I promise you, and coming to other side and seeing this and start seeing the truth about Andy, these distraction people like Jodie Sue and Karen, and there's others, a lot others. Exactly, the truth for Summer takes precedence. Absolutely, Jill. I don't know. I don't. I told you my beef with Lips. You know what I mean? That's my personal. But I'm not going to sit here and just like talk shit about her and randomly. I don't have any I mean, she kind of gives me an attitude when I went into Ernie's and stuff, trying to be like, "What the hell? It's Ziggy." And then she tried to act like she was kidding, but I know she like talks shit about me. But I mean, join the freaking join the crowd. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of them talk shit about me. But yes, summer is most important. And that's why I say we all have to really like come together. And if you know something, I know personally of creators out there who are staying quiet. Like, they haven't been on YouTube forever. I'm not talking about keeping quiet like they know. I'm talking about they are supporting Andy knowing stuff on him, knowing that he was on the road, knowing it. And I know for a fact. And they're doing it because of their pride. They are so bad do not want to admit that Ziggy was right. And it's sick. Well, actually, that Fred was right. It's Fred. It's not me. At least I guess Lips got those calls with Marlena, but of course, but that was the first, like, I wish she would just put all those out and just put them out now. I don't understand not just releasing everything and unedited and just putting it out there now at this point. So I don't understand that, but right? Right, Keith. Come at the end of the day, put differences aside and come together to find summer. Very true. And you guys are going to see more and more of us, I think, come together in the name of Summer Wells. So, and then the ones that don't want to freaking go along with the program, they can weed themselves out and look like fools when all these people are freaking arrested at once. I guarantee Fred Hill's not going to be one of them. So I did notice that something I didn't tell you recently. I noticed, and I was thinking about keeping it quiet and just ignoring him. But I noticed that Bill Shipley sent me a message under his Pawpaw account. So if you get a Pawpaw request, that's Bill Shipley. And he's all mad because of the stuff that's been said on him on YouTube because of his ex now, who's turned on us and is Six Up's buddy for some odd reason. Like, she blames me for the stuff that she put out about Bill. Anyways, you know, he's on there trying to accuse me of seeing, or he's the one that was going around spreading a rumor saying that he saw me up on the Wells partying with them in a camper or something like that. Like, you didn't fucking see me. So if I do kind of want to talk. I kind of am curious. Bill Shipley, would you like to come up on panel sometime? Because I want to know who this person you did see was, because it was not me. It was not me. I promise you that was not me. So who was it? Who was up there partying with the Wells if it wasn't me? He claims he saw me smoking meth with the Wells. Yeah, okay. That wasn't even, like, meth was not even my drug of choice or even close to it back when I was using. So I've been thinking lately, should I reach out to him and try to figure out who he could have possibly seen? I know he's full of bullshit and he's not a good person. I mean, and I'm sorry, like, he could be mad at stuff I put out there and stuff, but everything that we have came directly from his girlfriend and the screenshots off his own Facebook and stuff that he posted himself. You know, he needs to control himself if he doesn't want people to view him like that. First to talk gets the deal, right? Which I'm kind of hoping that maybe it might be already too late in that, because it does I've kind of wondered, like I said the last time I was live when I went, and I haven't checked to see what it says now. I'll check here in a second. For Daniel Hayes, Chad Daniel Hayes, he was arrested the 25th of June, come to find out. And it's just interesting. And we found out, so Don B did call the jail, he said, and they said it was a probation violation, but how did he violate? We don't know. That's all that it says is probation violation. So we don't know exactly what he did to violate to get put in jail. But is he talking? I mean, and Chad Arnold too was put in jail recently on drug charges, though. But I really don't think like that guy's involved, but I don't know, because his hanging out with Marlena and them like recently, that's weird. Like, I don't know why you would let her like stay on your property and stuff like that at this point. I don't know. Just seems odd. Well, actually, in a way, now that I think about it, Chad Arnold and Marlena are kind of like basically family. But still, I don't know. And Chad does have the property like to allow it and not even have to like see her, but isn't Andrew's last name Hayes, or his wife's last name? No, his Andrew, it's not Hayes. It's, I forget. Hey, Val. Right, Crystal? I am so proud of him as well. And you would think his sister would be proud of him too, but no. Instead, she wants to put rumors out on the internet that we're over here like, doing meth or like drugs and all kinds of horrible things, instead of just being happy that her brother changed his life around. No, she's a jealous freak. She's jealous and she has something to hide. And that's exactly there's no other reason in the world she would have done this. Oh, yeah, there you go, Hiltz. So that's what I was saying, like in my last video. Remember, this PI says the brothers, and I was thinking, well, immediately I thought the Hayes brothers, because one of them is an RSO who is Jodie Sue's tattoo artist. Jodie Sue posts some weird post recently saying to give her space while certain things unfold in the coming days, or some basically like that. That's paraphrased. Oh, really? Yeah, Jill. Yeah, Val, I found out today for a fact that she was hanging out on the Wells property after Summer Wells went missing. So I found even more of a connection of her to the Wells and Andy Bernard and them. And then also there's proof of out there of Candace crying and about Dawn Wells sleeping with Fred Hill's sister, Karen. So that's why I was saying, if any of you guys still talk to Candace one of these days, like try to see if you can get some information about Fred Hill's sister. Start asking Candace about her. because when she gets drunk, she'll spill the beans on her because she doesn't like her because supposedly she slept with Don Wells. I mean, I believe it. She was supposedly she dated Jimmy Long. Yeah, and why did she try, like, and then come to find out, like, months later after me and Fred got married, to find out how much, like the stuff that she was telling people and saying, like, she's like, over my dead body, are they gonna get married? I'm gonna make sure of it. I'll do anything in my power to make sure they're not together, blah blah blah. It's like, what? I didn't even know her. I never met her. Fred hadn't even talked to her really in years. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like, why? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Never trust somebody who goes by a million different names, like Fred Hill's sister Karen. She has a million freaking aliases. Like, seriously. Well, it's called they usually somebody drugs are involved as far as like an exchange in drugs for sex. And if you look at Jimmy Long's Facebook, you'll see that Karen is tagged all over it, and really, when he's talking about weird, like, sexual innuendos and asking her to drive him places, it's very, very sus AF. She didn't do very well covering her tracks. I don't know why people don't think or play out the tape of how their actions are going to affect their life. Like, did you not think like what was going to happen in a few years when all your lies are completely uncovered and people see that this, the truth all comes out there? So you'd rather, I don't understand how you can be like 50 years old and not, and being involved in such like, I don't know, guys. If I were them, though, I'd be scared. And changing people's opinion about me or Fred isn't going to change anything at this point. Whether or not it's too late. It's too late. Too much information's out there. There's too much. Too much has been put out there. Too much proof of all these people's connections. It's too much has come out to go backwards now. Sorry, Fred's not gonna be able to end up secretly, unaliving himself like you probably planned, or yeah, I guarantee. I think about all the time that I feel like they were planning on doing something to Fred, guys, and it's really scary. At this point, it wouldn't do any good, so it's like pointless because there's too much out there. They're going to go down anyways at this point. Mm-hmm. Hey, Heart and Soul. So I did share a post yesterday about something about sex offenders and on or the sex, how Hawkins County did like a sweep and checked out who was compliant with the sex offender registry or whatever. Well, there was this article I found that was dated for, I think, June 25th of 25 or something. And it said that they did one of those sweeps, and 2 were found not compliant and were arrested, and 1 was found like absconded or whatever and arrested. But they didn't, and they said no names were mentioned. Well, I found that exact, almost word for word, exact same article, like from 2018. And then so I started like questioning I started questioning that source, so I deleted that post. I kind of, I don't know if that's real information. I couldn't find it anywhere else, so I deleted it. I hope that they are checking and making sure that, because I had seen something like an article. It said something like the police were doing some kind of checking to see if all the sex offenders in Hawkins County, like the Hawkins County TBI and U.S. Marshals or something, were making sure, or some other group, or making sure that everybody's registered and all that. I do believe that he was gonna be one of the ones that's end up dead. Yeah, that's why I was so worried. Like, that's why I put him. I truly did. I put him out there online because I thought, like, felt like they thought that nobody, like, if something happened to him, like it would just go. Nobody would really notice, or because, oh, he's on drugs and stuff like that. Kind of like some of these others that have magically ended up dead. Yeah, I was very scared that they were going to do that to him. And I think I have plenty of reasons to believe that. And I believe his own sister is very capable of such thing. And that is my opinion only. And she is definitely has been accused of being involved in insurance like schemes involving deaths, fires, and insurance schemes, etc., etc. I have all she knows it's true. I wish there was a way to see how many like insurance claims somebody's filed, I would love to look up how many insurance claims that woman has filed. Her favorite way to do it is through fire. That's her favorite go-to, is setting fires. Just like, oh, isn't that Cotton Simpson? No. He burned it up from cooking meth. I wonder what they found out about the Warriors Path fire over there. That was like Cotton Simpson's, like, he was the manager or over that area. He retired from working on Warriors Path, which is another weird thing. He wasn't working there when Summer went missing, I don't think, but like Earl Taylor, who is actually Earl Taylor is the guy who was found, what was it, the next day after Summer went missing, I believe, dead in the creek, and they tried to rule it like a accident or something, or he did it himself, I forget, but I don't believe it. I think that's way too suspicious with that person's connections. He just so happens to be family to the Crawfords. He's a Taylor, Earl Taylor. The Crawfords mother is a tailor. So like Marlena Crawford's mother is a tailor. Anyways, Earl Taylor was married to Celeste Taylor. I could be pronouncing it wrong, when he died. But when he died, Celeste was actually with Ricky Crawford Jr. So was there some kind of weird, and this is Ricky Crawford Jr. Jr. is Marlena Crawford's brother. Yep. I'm not as worried about it now. I think it would be way too, I think it would be way too risky for him now at this point to do anything stupid like that, because it would be way too obvious. I don't think so. I don't know. Good night, Connie. I don't know what vehicle Earl drove. Yeah, it was the next day after Summer went missing, I believe. And he's directly connected to Marlena Crawford, Ricky Crawford, like right in that crew, So it's just very strange. It's weird for sure, and it's weird how they wanted to keep that all hush hush, Like the family was like asking people not to or to leave it alone. I just don't understand that. So, yeah, I just got more proof today of Karen's involvement with all these groups. She's the being part of the distraction crew, and her hanging out at the wells is all coming out. So, and I know Karen, she is actually a coward. She'll run when this all comes. Like, she will hide. She would not show her face. She's, from what I've heard about her, she is, yeah. Let's see what few cards I get on Karen's involvement. Karen, what is Karen's involvement in Summer Wells' disappearance? Because some of you guys were asking to see if I've ever done a reading on her, and we'll just see. The Ten of Swords, ruin, failure, bitterness, collapse, exhaustion, dead end, victimization, betrayal. We have the Page of Swords, which is about being that's the card of gossip and communication. Here's my Summer Wells card, Page of Cups. So yeah, what's her involvement in Summer Wells' disappearance? Abandonment, letting go, searching for truth, leaving something behind, turning. So see these two that was turned upside down. It says unhappiness, lack of fulfillment, disappointment, underachievement, arrogance, snobbery, revenge, regret, remorse, and cutting losses. So what does she want to get back for? Like, revenge for what? We hadn't even talked about Karen, like when she came out onto the scene and stuff. So that wouldn't even really make sense. Stalemate, difficult choice, being stuck in the middle, denial, and hidden information, it says. So that to me is a clue she has some kind of information, which I already know anyways. This is just a tarot reading. It's just for entertainment purposes only. says loss, grief, disappointment, sadness, mourning, discontent, and feeling let down. Being dedicated to working towards some kind of wealth. See, the devil's connected to, yeah, see, she's worried about getting arrested. She's worried about something coming out. She has to be. She has to be. And after today, I am more convinced than ever. Isn't it caught how Cotton fell off a cliff, and then Jodie Sue said she'd hope they all fall off a cliff? Well, how about how Jodie Sue said also, which I wrote down or said something about how you could spy on the Wells over off of Simpson. And I asked Fred about that, and he was like, well, I guess the only place she could possibly be talking about is the Overbays. And he was like, and they just so happened to have a maroon Tacoma single cab truck with a black ladder rack. But remember how Jodie Sue was saying she could spy on the Wells from Simpson? And Andy was seen on Simpson Road at around 3:37 p.m. before Fred saw him around like 3:47 or something, I think, over on Ben Hill in front of 165. So was he over there spying on the Wells on Simpson over at the Overbays? First, I don't know what I really doubt that, because I would really doubt that, because then that would mean the Wells aren't involved, and I can't see that. So yeah, when I asked Fred what Jodie Sue means, oh, and another thing, guys, a clip about Jodie Sue talking about like threatening Andy and mentioning like that chicken shit water or whatever, where she was like being all like real vague and stuff. People couldn't figure out what she was talking about, and talking about sunflowers. So they used to fight chickens. I don't know. I'm probably still, I don't want to get anybody in trouble over it, but they'd fight chickens out there in Light Holler. And there's a creek that runs out there that runs like right behind the Fields Road property on the Bernard Fields Road property. And when they would fight the chickens, they would throw the dead ones in the creek, and the blood and chicken shit would run down behind the Fields Road property. And that is one of the puzzle pieces in solving what Jodie Sue was talking about when she talked about chicken shit, bloody water, and sunflowers. Now, the only thing we can think about the sunflowers thing, which is like, is she talking about sun, like her, like a child, or is she talking sunflowers? They're right over by Andy Bernard's parents' property over at Mountain View. There's a huge field of sunflowers, and that's the only place in the area that you'll see sunflowers. So it just so happens to be right next to Andy Bernard's parents, but I don't know if that had happened, if that was some kind of, because she was talking about the elders and how the elders would be so disappointed. Yep. You know how we were talking about that Norway the other day about possible like illegal adoption, like a gray market or black market adoption, which would make sense why once we heard one of the law enforcement agencies say there was some legal ramifications, or like, you know what I mean? Like made it seem like something was only a little bit illegal. Like, what if it was a gray market adoption? through a church or a group to get money to pay off their drug dealer. Sunflowers came up in Summer's reading. Oh, yeah, they are. The old nurse. But Frank Light is a main one, but he actually is into boys, so I don't know. I mean, they were trying to make Summer look like a boy, but I don't know. Cam talked about a, so to speak, camp that overlooked the wells. Yeah, it had to be over there at the Overbays. That's the only place Fred could think of that you could see. And because even Jodie Sue said something off Simpson Road. So she kept talking about how Andy's parent or the elders would be so disappointed that he's like this, chicken shit. He's a flip flopper. She thinks, she probably is doing that because she thinks Andy's going to get them all busted. Really, there's probably some kind. This ring has probably why she's saying the elders would be disappointed is because probably this is a generational ring of some sorts that's been going on for years. Oh, I know what I was going to say about Norway. You know how we talked about Norway because I found an article about this. Somebody sent it to me actually, and anyways, we talked about it in a different live. I'm not gonna go over why. Like I brought Norway has a big SDA population, like SDA Seventh Day Adventist, and 80%. They're the third in the world of the most blonde hair people in the world. 80% of their country is blonde hair, blue eyed. Well, 80% is blonde haired. I can't say blue eyed. I didn't look up that for sure. 80%. There's a big SDA population out there. I found an article online, or I didn't find it. Somebody sent me an article about this illegal adoption ring, gray market adoption ring out of Sri Lanka that was sending children to Norway. And this woman was helping find, uniting families. She found out she was one that was adopted in Norway, and she found out it was through this illegal adoption. And, she thought she started asking questions young. She looked different. And that's when I also found out too, that's, what was weird about that is I found out that the exchange student that the Thompsons had was actually an Indian girl. She looked Indian and she would have a red dot here. And that's how that girl looked like that was out of Sri Lanka. It's probably, it could just be a coincidence, but it's just weird. Anyways, we started looking into Norway, and what if Summer is blonde hair, blue eyed. If somebody wanted to adopt a child and they wanted to, they wanted the child to look as much like them as possible, it would make sense to me that somebody would want a blonde hair, blue eyed child if they're blonde haired and blue eyed themselves. So did somebody from a country like Norway want a child and there's a big SDA church, the Hope House, guys. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. That woman, it was through the Hope House. The Hope House is through the SDA church. The Hope House is the SDA church. There's some stories. The Hope House does adoptions. That's who that girl out of Sri Lanka was adopted, who was the organization that started her adoption or whatever, I think. It's so much. Yeah, this old nurse, you didn't hear me say that earlier? Talking about Frank Light? Mm-hmm. Hey, Chris. Yeah, the Hope House. They're an organization through the SDA Church that does like helps young single mothers who are pregnant mothers or whatever, pregnant single mothers. The Isaiah House. So, and then we have this law enforcement agent or the whoever it was, DA, saying something like, "Oh, it has implications of crime." You know, there is a criminal element to it. Like the way he was saying that is like, what the heck? Well, sex trafficking would definitely be illegal. That's not like something that's like, eh. So what could be like, eh? There is something called gray market adoption. There's black market, gray market, and then legal adoption. Tim Mullen's involved missing. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, who was it that was saying that was involved that is connected to Don Wells? Oh, that PI or to Tim Mullins. I'm sorry. That PI. Somebody was telling me that PI is connected through Tim Mullins in some way. And I did do a reading on that PI, and it did come up kind of strange. So I thought it was weird that he didn't want to talk to, or he's talking to all these like random people, but he didn't want to talk to like Fred about, you know what I mean? I just thought it was weird. No, SCA is not Mormons. Do you think that one person that works for Hawkins County Child Advocacy could be the same person that knows the Wells? That one person that works for Hawkins County Child Advocacy. You know, we gray adoption would just be like, hey, you know, arranging something on your own in the background. It wouldn't it and what I just kind of have I just have this weird feeling. I could just see Don Wells going to his church. I'm sorry, you know, we've been dealing with this 4 years. I think that you guys can handle this. So trigger warning. But I could totally see him going to the church and confessing that he was doing inappropriate things. I'm sorry. I just can see it. And then being like, well, it says in the Bible, cut off your hand if it causes you to steal, pluck out your eye if it causes you to lust. Maybe you could sacrifice your child, so the, you know, that would show that you really are willing to change for the Lord. If, you know, you gave up that thing that, you know, you wouldn't be tempted anymore. Maybe he couldn't control himself and he gave her up. I don't, and you know, also CPS. I could totally see him telling on himself at the church. Sometimes I think Don Wells does like have, I do sometimes think that he I don't know. I've seen him like feel bad like when Candace told my daughter no about the dog, and after she had promised my daughter, and my daughter crying and Candace having no like care whatsoever. Dawn was the sensitive one of the two. I do think I think it could bother him. And if somebody, I think that's the way to go, is play on his religion and let him know he is not going to heaven unless he tells the truth about what happened to Summer Wells. I could see him doing it, going to the church, admitting his sins, and them being like suggesting him giving her up for adoption. That way, Summer would be safe and he wouldn't be tempted, or something. You know what I mean? That's just a theory, and we've already heard all from his stepsisters and stuff. I don't want to hear people like getting mad at me for bringing that up. There's just way too much evidence of inappropriate things going on. Yeah, and then of course the church is gonna, like, in their mind, think they're doing something good because they're, in a way, because they're saving a child. And it says in the Bible, if something makes you sin, get rid of it. I believe that, Sylvia. And Don all of a sudden is so religious, constantly talking religion. He messages Fred 2 weeks ago, even though he's talked all this shit all over all these channels, like how he tried to set up Fred, and he has been a part of trying to set Fred up and stuff. Then messages him a couple of weeks ago and ask him how he's doing, and like, God bless, and oh, I've just been in my Bible, hope all's well. It's like, he wants to be good so bad. He wants to be a good person, or looked at as a good person so bad. I don't know. I feel like he could easily get manipulated by like some kind of like cultish or religious type. And then then you got to think, though, if he did confess to his church something like that, or did something like that, then where's Andy Bernard fall in that? Because, like, what was he doing on the road? How would that all tie in? And then it makes us think, well, like, one of the neighbors that Andy's really close to, which is like Andy's mom's old home place that the Thompsons purchased, is now they're real close to Andy, and they had an exchange student up there, and they always have all these kids up there from all over the world, and they used to take them down to the Redmonds and on hay rides and stuff. What affiliation is that group? I want to know that, because that would be something that Andy would probably be directly connected to. And I'm just wondering, is he... I just want to know. I want to know what church or group that's affiliated with. Right, Luminous? Oh, yeah, that's exactly what Fred says, that he was fishing for info, and he knew that from the beginning. I know, Tanya. It's not their fault. It's not. But it's not. And maybe Summer was adopted to a family who really, really wanted kids. It's not. Their laws in Norway are not as strict, or a place like that. It doesn't have to be Norway. I'm just saying. maybe there's a family who really wanted her. That maybe it's, and that could be, I don't know. Could be a million different things, I guess. Pastor Ryder. Yeah, there you go. That's his pastor. Very beginning, Don was seen. They both were. I was listening to that video from Killer Looks last night, from like a month ago. I hadn't listened to it yet because, like, I was like kind of mad at Killer Looks for like a week or two, and then I got over it. Anyways, it was really, really good, and it's about it's about Andy mostly. I'm trying to remember exactly the title. But they were showing Andy being questioned, and like that forensic artist, who was like offering to draw the man that Jodie supposedly saw in that red truck. And he got all freaking weird and mutes and starts like, I don't know, acting real strange and just kind of rude to that lady, in my opinion. And the way he was till Chris McDonough, which I don't understand why Chris McDonough doesn't want to talk to Fred, but I'll just leave that right there. And I want to know also why I'm blocked, which anyways, he does do a good job with his videos. He did another good one yesterday. Anyways, Chris McDonough asked him, what line of questioning, what was law enforcement asking you? He's like, I don't remember. And Chris was like, oh, okay, well, thank you. I don't remember. I don't remember what they were asking me. How about let's start with what you were driving that day and what the hell you were doing on the road. They were asking you that stuff, weren't they, Andy? So why are you out here all over the internet telling people you weren't on the road? Why did you team up with Fred Hill's sister and have her go in there and team up with this, this fake psychic and use the opportunity to steal everything in there along with the SD cards and all the electronics? I don't understand why. It all makes sense now, like why these SD cards have disappeared. Like, it makes so much more sense now. Yep. I don't think that, I really hope that Robin doesn't know anything. But I could see somebody, rationalizing it in their mind. If they knew that the child went to who they think is a decent family, definitely much better than the Wells, I could see somebody rationalizing it in their mind that it's better, for her. And I could see them using the Bible as a way to rationalize it. I mean, that's really famous quotes out of the Bible. Yeah, waiting several hours to call. Yeah. And then some people go, well, maybe Andy was on the road, like hiding his drugs or plants or whatever. It's like, well, how would he have known at 3:45 that Summer was missing at that point? Summer wasn't even called in missing until like what, 6:35 or something? So, real quick, because I was looking into Karen, the star of the show. I mean, she wants all this attention. She's so jealous that Fred gets all the attention. So, we thought we'd give her some today. You're welcome, Karen. So, what is Karen's involvement in Summerall's disappearance? Why the Ten of Swords? Look how it says delays. She's trying to cause delays because of feeling victimized. She's afraid of somebody finding some truth. The Page of Swords. She doesn't want somebody, delaying. Look at this. This is some kind of money. Delaying of people finding out. Like, this is some kind of purchase or something. The Ace of Coins. Page of Cups. What's that? That's the Summer Wells card. So that's representing something to do with money in Summer Wells. The mother right here. What is Karen's involvement in Summer Wells' disappearance? Something with money. Given money to buy the mother, the Empress, the mother of Summer Wells, to 8 of Cups. What's this mean? To do what? Wheel of Fortune. To walk away. Abandon her brother. They paid her to abandon her brother. Why? This is burdens. Because they're afraid that there's like some kind of unhappiness, lack of fulfillment, disappointment, underachievement. They were worried about some kind of like him like finding out, getting some kind of resolution, finding some kind of information. The Five of Swords in reverse is about reconciliation and resolution. And they were actually unhappy about that. It even says right here, unhappiness at the top. They were unhappy about reconciliation or resolution in the Summer Wells case. So it actually burdened them. And here's the card of not knowing what to do, a stalemate, hidden information, being stuck in the middle. And what is Karen's involvement? And the stuck in the middle, she was so she had the devil on one side and like this is the God card on the other. And she basically decided to choose the wrong side because it looks like to me she was paid to help out, to turn on Fred. To me, it looks like they paid her to turn on Fred like that. That's what it really does. It looks like they were paying. They're paying Karen to do this. Now it was just entertainment purposes only. Yep, exactly. He wasn't gonna get exactly. He wasn't gonna let Summer go without him. If Summer had to go, he might as well get money for her, right? And also, if CPS got a hold of her and found out anything, any type, they're going to give her a medical exam. They definitely, my guess, did not want that. Who's Karen? That is would I'm speaking on Fred Hill's sister, the one out that came out hot in June of 2023 when Fred went to jail. And I found out I had proof sent to me today of Karen up on the hill after Summer Wells went missing. And also, I have proof of Candace crying because Don Wells slept with Karen. So I'm sure that we could probably get Candace to speak on that. Maybe when she's drunk sometime she'll tell us a little bit about Karen Hill. Well, I'm sorry, Karen Elliott. AKA Ellie. All right, guys. I guess I'll let you go. I'll be back maybe in a few days or whatever. It was so it would have been around. It was like it's been a while that I have proof of. I still think she's probably still hanging out up there. That's why she wanted to. Now it makes sense why she wanted to hide when she would go back there. Like Fred never understood that, and either did their other sister either. Like why Karen would always like hide underneath, like try to hide when she'd go back there after Summer Wells went missing. Like what the hell? Then she was spying on the Bernards too, like which is another weird thing that they knew was something was up. She would go out there and spy on the Bernards from 165 because the properties like I think match up or something. You could see from a certain ridge line. Oh, well, thank you, Jill. I pride myself on only putting out what I what I believe to be truth, what I truly believe. I don't just put stuff out to because I'm mad at somebody or I want to make somebody look bad or get them back or you know, but this is important when it comes to a child. This isn't revenge. This is like, a little bit of a heads up, honestly. Because things are definitely events are starting to unfold and people are starting to see the truth. And I'm telling you, over the coming days and weeks, you guys are going to see people see, people are going to be turning on Andy Bernard. I'm just telling you, Andy, be prepared. The truth is coming out, and then all that means is everybody else, all the other domino pieces are going to start falling along with it, and that means the Jodie Sues, like the Karen Elliott's, any of the other ones out there in the area of the creek that are a part of the distraction crew that come on YouTube, them as well. They know who they are. The hide that Cam showed you? What did he show you? A hide? Karen and Andy, yes, have been talking. Where's Summer? Yes, Karen is definitely been close. I found out today definitely much closer to Don Wells than I ever imagined or wanted to know. I heard rumors about it, but geez, I mean, people. But today I was like, yeah, that's just I already knew. I already knew this, and this just was like more. It was just confirmation to me that what I was feeling is correct. I already had a feeling that she was probably one of those people that was up there around right after. You remember all those people that were up there helping them clean and stuff? I think it's around that time. Hmm. I don't remember that, Chris. Oh, a deer blind? I didn't see it. I don't remember. It was a campsite. I do kind of remember something about it, but I didn't really think much. I didn't really. You can't just strike me. So somebody told me that Karen's telling people to strike me. You can't direct people to mass report. That's like against TOS for one. And to call TBI good. I hope that they see this. I would love for them to see this. And I would love for them to see your illegal documents that you fraudulently had notarized. So please, you can't strike me. It's my video. I could strike the person who's streaming me. You mean strike her? Because you can't strike me for saying your name, Karen. You do this every day of your life, Karen. Every day you've been up on, from what I hear, you've been talking shit about us every day in these chats and up on panels and stuff. Like, you cannot be mad when the truth comes out. Like, it's just so silly. Strike Ziggy! Strike Ziggy! Oh no! Oh no! I don't want the truth out there! It's too late, Karen. It's too late. Your world is going to be coming crashing down. Seriously. So if you can tell people to strike me and to call TBI, then I can say Karen, aka Ellie, or Fred Hill's sister, say what you know, or go down like the others, or go down with the others. There's nothing wrong with me saying that and saying the things I've experienced and been through with you. And the stuff I know for a fact, you absolutely, I mean, it's obvious. Look what you're doing. You've been trying to cause problems for me and Fred for over 2 years now. And you were like, over my dead body. If you guys get together, it's like, what? I didn't even know you. And that was the first red flag. It's like, why? Like, doesn't she want him clean? These people. All right, guys. Yeah, it is fraud. Like, I don't know how anybody is okay. Like, that is absolute proof right there. I don't get how people could defend that. Even just that part alone. That doesn't even have anything to do with all the other stuff that she's done to try to cause problems. Like, what's so funny is that, they're onto her. They're onto her. Does she not know that we are Fred's the main one that's been turning in information since day one? Are you serious? Oh, call TBI. They already know. And they know exactly how to get a hold of us. They watch, from what I hear, they watch our videos. And I hope they do. I really, really hope they do. I do. Because I think we're onto something over here. I know we are. I'm not saying that we're going to solve it, but I believe it. I know that Fred saw Andy on the road. So until I get answers for that, I'm going to keep bitching about it. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you later.